How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it is Thursday on this show. Golly, it's hard to believe. Thursday on this show, and you know what that means? We got a lot to talk about here today. Because, in fact, last night, New Japan Tokyo Dome, and a lot happened on that show. A lot happened. And I've watched everything through match 7. I've not watched the top 4 matches, but I know what happened in everything, so we can talk about that. We'll get your thoughts on the Dome show. I don't know how the last 4 matches ended up, but man, I thought the first 7 matches, there was a lot of real good stuff on that show. And we had the debut of the former Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth. We had a title change in every single title match on the show, and plenty more. So we'll talk about that here today. Plus more on the return of The Rock to Raw on Monday night. Stardom returning to the United States. We have some interview notes from Britt Baker and Bryan Danielson, talking various different things. And some rating notes as well. NXT on Tuesday night. And, of course, we have the world-famous AEW Dynamite report. That was a lot of wrestling last night, and I didn't make it through all of it. But Dynamite had the first Adam Cole promo since turning on MJF, the first Samoa Joe promo, and an awesome match with Takeshita and Darby Allin, which was just so great. So anyway, a lot to get into here today. If you want to text us, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. F4W Online at gmail.com. F4W Online on Threads. F4W Online on Instagram. F4W Online on Cameo. But at Bryan Alvarez on X. Back in a moment with more Observer Live.
There's 1, 2. Now he's got Bryan Alvarez. He whips him into the corner hard. Adam Firestorm following up, catches a boot to the face. Bryan Alvarez with another hard shot to the head. 1, 2. This is the most aggressive I've seen Bryan Alvarez today here in Portland Wrestling. Now he's got his knee across the throat. He's choking him, LC.
Well, it's like this week Alvarez has something to prove, brother. Something to prove to his sweet little lady over there.
Of course, Adam Firestorm with a big win over Black Dragon last week. Looking for another one here. There's a sunset flip. Is he going to go down? Yes, he is. Over he goes. 1, 2, 3. It is all over. Adam Firestorm with the victory over beautiful Bryan Alvarez here in Portland Wrestling. Now out Bryan Alvarez firing away with a boot. Action continues after the bell. Goes for the back body drop. No! Face first plant by Adam Firestorm. Your winner once, looks like he'll be your winner twice. Action continues. There's a whip into the far corner. Adam Firestorm follows with a spinning kick. LC, I think Bryan Alvarez has bit off more than he could chew tonight. Miss Rent-to-Own really disgusted over in the corner. Adam Firestorm not done. There's a lion sold on top. He hooks him again. 1, 2. 2.5. I thought we had a 3 count earlier in this match, LC. I was wrong.
I can't believe it. I thought Youth Gone Wild was just adding a little salt to the wound. I thought Alvarez was out of her head and a 2-time loser, brother.
Well, Mark Watson's hand must have stopped just short of the 3 count. And these eyes of my need glasses, because I thought I saw a 3 count. Bryan Alvarez going up top.
Oh, well, forget about your cataracts, brother. Up and over he goes.
Nobody home. Adam Firestorm back in control, playing a bit of possum. He's climbing up top. Is Rento-Onato really upset? There he goes. Swamp
oh, and that one hit.
There's a hook the leg. 1, 2, 3. Now it's all over.
A 2-time loser. And does the LC have to look after Miss Rento-Onato tonight, baby?
There's Adam Firestorm, your winner in this match. Once, twice, 3 times, it didn't matter. Bryan Alvarez not up to it. Miss Rento-Onato absolutely disgusted with it. Mark Watson explaining to him it was a 3 count this time. No hook the leg. Fair and square, Adam Firestorm, your winner here on Portland Wrestling. Fans will be right back with after a message from our sponsors.
Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom Lawler is joining us here today. Poor Sempervive's under the weather. But we got a lot to get into here, Tom. And for those of you listening live who are subscribers at WrestlingObserver.com or video.f4wonline.com, Vinny did a solo show last night. The Vinny Show. And he did it right after Wrestle Kingdom. And it is up right now for audio and video subscribers. And because yesterday was a very busy night, Observer Radio is tonight, late night, as usual on Wednesdays. It'll be Thursday this week. And the usual Bryan and Vinny Show will be 9 Pacific, midnight Eastern. That's the plan. So anyway, Tom, how much of this Dome show did you see?
I have seen virtually all of it except for the main event.
Wow.
Because I've been at the car dealership where they've had my car for a week. I spent $2,000 to fix it, and I start driving home and the light's still on. Check engine system. So now I'm going to have to head back to the dealership, and someone's going to get their system checked by Filthy Tom Lawler. Because not only am I upset about that, but I'm bitter. I'm mad because I had to sit home and watch a night of spectacular wrestling action in the Tokyo Dome instead of being there. But I digress. My mood quickly changes when I think about the New Japan Rambo and one Hayato Jr. Fujita fighting in that Rambo.
Wow.
The best story in pro wrestling, if you know it. The man was diagnosed with a spinal tumor 6 years ago. He has made his way back to the ring. A protege of Kid Yamamoto, of all people, Brian.
Yeah, that's true. That's all true. I didn't see the Rambo.
Well, he didn't make it to the Final Four.
Yeah, Great-O-Khan, Taiji Ishimori, Toru Yano, and Yo won the Rambo. And, I was watching the end of Dynamite, and I don't regret it because of that Darby Allin match. We'll get to that later. So, quick results from the show. I saw the first 7 matches. TJP and Francesco Akira beat Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney.
Kind of.
To win the IWGP Junior Tag Team titles. And it's funny because, they come out and Clark and Drilla have got brand new belts. And they've got white straps. And they've got their white jackets and everything on. And the announcers are putting this big deal about how they just got brand new matching belts to go with their outfits. And then they proceeded to immediately lose the belts. I was like, that sucks.
To TJP, dressed as the Aswang.
Yeah.
Filipino, I probably said that way wrong, but Filipino bat monster of some sorts.
He's got a creepy mask on, and
it was weird.
Yeah, didn't really go that long. It was 9 minutes 38 seconds, but I mean it was all right. I just and then that was like the beginning of the rest of the show, where it's like, if you wear white, it's going to be a bad night for you, brother, because everybody wearing white from that point on, they just got beat. So then we had the president of New Japan, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Zack Sabre Jr. This was for the New Japan Television Championship, New Japan World. And, of course, the first champion was Zack Sabre Jr.
A title, Brian, that was introduced for younger wrestlers on the card in a faster-paced style.
Yes.
1 year ago.
Zack won it a year ago. He never lost it. And then he goes in there with Tanahashi. And they had their usual very good match. I mean, it was only 9 minutes, but, the technical wrestling is so good. And then they're trading cradles, and Tanahashi pinned him. So, in fact, here facing Yuya Uemura. And he's got so much charisma, and he's so great. And then he gets beat. Yuya Uemura beats him in a big upset. And the crowd was like, huh? They were, shocked when Uemura pinned him. But I think I forget the number they said. They said something like, this is our 47th match together. I was like, golly.
And after this, they said, for the first time Yuya Uemura is one step ahead of Yota Tsuji.
No, he's not. He just got a pin on him in one of their 47 matches.
Hit him with the deadbolt.
Listen, I like Yuya Uemura, but he is not one step ahead of Yota Tsuji right now. I'm sorry. Then we had House of Torture versus Shota Umino and Kaito Kiyomiya, and it pretty much sucked. It's a House of Torture match. Interference, gimmicks, all that crap.
Did Dick Togo break out the chop?
He did. He did.
See?
He did.
I missed this
can
match,
I say
but
this
guess
on
I'm
the
gonna
air?
have to go back and watch. I don't think you can.
Okay, I'll just say he did the Johnson to the Johnson is what he did. Is that all right? I should clear these things with Dom. But yeah. Then we had Tama Tonga and Shingo for the never open weight title. And the thing with New Japan is like sometimes it's just like I just keep seeing the same thing over and over again. Like last year on this show, Tama Tonga won the never open weight title. Well, a year later, Tama Tonga won the never open weight title. This time he beats Shingo. This match ruled, by the way.
Yes.
This match was awesome. And it had great heat. It had great near falls. I mean, it was so good. Tama Tonga looked great. Shingo's just unbelievable.
The counter that Tama Tonga did into the gun stun from the Made in Japan was insanity.
I didn't know exactly what he was doing, but like when he set up the Made in Japan, Tama had his arm in the wrong place. The wrong
It was a counter.
place.
It was a counter.
I know, but when he first started doing the Made in Japan, I was like, why does he have his arm there? That looks weird. And the reason was he transitioned into the gun stun, and he pinned him, won the never open weight title. This
Not
match
with
was
that.
awesome.
That was midway through
that
the
was
match.
not. Yeah.
There was plenty more awesome counters. And then in a bizarre twist, Tama Tonga's leaving?
I don't know. That's what they said here, but I was unaware of that.
I guess he said that he is going to find a job closer to home.
Well, he said it, but that doesn't mean... Bro, do you guys remember when Juice Robinson was going to quit? He
Jay
came on
White.
this show! And then he actually ended up re-signing with New Japan. So, we'll see what the guy says and what he actually does. Then we had El Desperado and Hiromu, which I didn't see these matches, but Desperado won the title.
This match was awesome.
Third time.
As well.
Yeah.
A lot of counters. They got right down to the business. Well, a lot of these matches only had 10 to 15 minutes. So from what I've seen, I haven't seen the main event, but there was not a lot of long, drawn-out opening, slow sequences. Everybody kind of got right down to action, and this match delivered. Desperado hit him with the most disgusting sit-out pinche loco, like a pile driver, before he finished him off with another one. And Desperado tries to lay his claim to being amongst the all-time IWGP junior heavyweight greats like Satoru Sayama, Jushin Liger, Hiromu Takahashi. And as I mentioned that, I want to say, on commentary, I listened to both the Japanese and English, varying which match I was watching. But Rocky Romero was great. Walker Stewart was great. Out of all people, he reminds me of, Brian, I don't know why, but he reminds me of listening to Jeff Osborne.
Jeff Osborne.
Yeah.
How
I
about
don't know.
Hook
Yeah.
and shoot?
Yes. And I thought everything that I saw on this show was great.
All right, we'll be back in a moment with more Observer Live.
Those are two people I really value a lot. Those are two people I wish would stay here in AEW forever. With Sting, that's a great question. We talked about it, and I said, Sting, I would like for you to stay as long as possible here, and we really value you. And he said it's not really years at this point, it's more like months. And that was hard to hear, but it made sense. And I would have loved to have stretched it out as long as possible, but I pointed out that he had debuted at Revolution 21 and that maybe 3 years would be a fitting conclusion to this whole thing. And, he's amassed this great record. And going in tonight, they were 23-0. And to have Sting going for 3 years to be chasing that final great moment and to have this great send-off, I thought that was really cool. And he liked that a lot. So when I said that, he really took to that idea, and we went from there. So at that point, we started talking about Revolution, and when he went out and addressed the crowd in Houston and said that it's going to be my last year and that Revolution is the end, that was after we talked about it and kind of come up with, based on how he was feeling, that felt, because he's feeling good. I think he wants to go out on top, and I think that's what we all want. So I'm glad he came to me and told me that. And then about Bryan Danielson, it's funny because that was different. It's also 3 years, but it was 3 years by design, because Bryan also arrived and Bryan also made his debut in 2021. Sting made his first appearance in 2020, but he had his first wrestling match at Revolution 2021. Bryan made his first appearance here at All Out 21. And when Bryan came in, we had made an agreement that he was going to wrestle for 3 years, and then he was going to go home and be a dad. And it was like one of those deals that sounds really good, but it's like you're watching the sand in the hourglass now. And for me personally, as I look at it, we're getting closer and closer to the end of that 3-year deal, and it's getting harder and harder for me to think about the end.
Back on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom Lawler is here. We had David Finlay beating Will Ospreay and Jon Moxley to win the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. Obviously, Will Ospreay is on the way out. He did the job here in this match. Finlay, as expected, new champion. And what did you think of this one?
Chaos.
Yeah.
From start to finish, had a lot of the usual three-man tropes, although they did start off, Moxley and Will Ospreay both beating up David Finlay like they promised to. But once it got down to action, there was a lot of creative spots. The War Dogs did a run-in seemingly to help Finlay walk away with the title, but they were thwarted and were put through table by Will Ospreay. Alex Coughlin comically stuck in the table, sitting up like he's in the bathtub. And then Finlay did win the title. I thought he was going to win with the Trash Panda. However, he turned it into a new move. I don't know the name, but it was a new finish. Basically a stalling vertical suplex into a knee strike, reminiscent of the GTS in many ways. And Finlay is your
Actually,
new champion.
did you watch Dynamite?
I watched some of it.
Explain this move again.
He lifted him up for a vertical, and then he put him down and hit a knee.
Okay.
To the face.
Because somebody did some variation of that on Dynamite, and actually there was a light CM Punk chant because it looked so much like the GTS. Who was that? Anyway. So yeah, afterwards they were doing the press conference, and David Finlay gets attacked by, of all people, Nick Nemeth.
Well, he did get in Nick Nemeth's face ringside. Nemeth was sitting ringside with the other people from the Asian conglomerate of wrestling companies that they've recently put together in cooperation with
and his
New
brother.
Japan. Yeah, they were both there, and Finley and he got into it there. So looks like they're headed towards a title showdown for that global belt.
They sure are. We had Okada beating Bryan Danielson, as pretty much everybody expected, given the finish of their first match. And how was this one?
Fantastic.
Best match on the show, I presume? Was it better than Shingo and Tama-Tonga?
I was just going to say, I don't know, because
Golly,
Shingo and Tama-Tonga was fantastic. And it was like about 10 minutes shorter than this match. Although, I mean, this match was great, too. Danielson worked over the arm of Okada. Okada fired back with his big offense. He was desperate. He had a great desperation rainmaker at one point, and then he was able to capitalize later on with a flurry of offense. I believe a landslide, the Cobra Flosion, and then finally put him away with one last rainmaker and got the win.
And then the main event was Naito beating Sonata to win the IWGP. Yes.
Also say, Brian, this Bryan Danielson fella,
yeah,
he was kicking Okada as hard as humanly possible. This guy does not look like it's pleasurable to be in the ring with him whatsoever. Brutal this match was.
Well, you know, I've heard that when you wrestle Bryan Danielson, you better be ready to work, because he is a machine. So
that reminds me of something I've heard. You remember the IGF, the Inoki Genome Federation? I've heard that many of those matches you were forced basically to shoot at the beginning. Right? And so it's very reminiscent of that in many ways. You got to fight Bryan Danielson full force.
First says maybe this is why he keeps getting injured. Well, you know, there is a reason that it's worked. And that's because if you're going to work a lot of matches, you don't see UFC fighters every week. They don't fight every week. Be a bad idea. Naito beats Sonata in the main event, IWGP Heavyweight title. Neither of us have seen it yet. I'm watching all of these matches probably in about an hour, and we'll do the full recap with Dave later on tonight. As noted, the Vinny show, he recapped everything as well this morning, so you can check those out. But, hey, what I saw I really liked. And then,
I heard the main event went off the rails and then got back on the rail and had...
How to go off the rails?
A great last 10 minutes.
Yeah. I don't like to hear things going off the rails. Brian says it was good, but not the best match on the show. DJ says it was sloppy. Brian says Naito can't do the Destino anymore. Well, the thing with the Destino is it's all the other guy, really. Like, you just got to go up and the other guy does the rest. So that would be on Sonata if Destino didn't look good. So I'll watch it. I'll decide. Anyway, I'll get some other notes here, and then we'll talk about Dynamite as well. The Rock returned on Raw, showed it 1.75 million viewers and a .60 in 18 to 49, which is great. The competition, they had Michigan and Alabama Rose Bowl, did 27 million viewers, peaked at 32.8 million, for those of you that say people don't watch TV no more. And then there was another playoff game that did 18.4 million viewers. And when The Rock showed up, the show jumped to 2.2 million viewers and a .79 in 18 to 49. A .79.
Yeah. A lot of those football fans tuned over once the UFL chairman, The Rock, got out there.
Good God, those are giant numbers. So, he ain't doing Australia. He's doing Mania. Okay? Just so we all know.
Stardom, we're not getting the girth and Perth.
Hey, we might for someone else. Stardom announced their return 3 months away here to the U.S. It was announced they will be holding a show in Philadelphia Thursday, April 4th. It will be part of a WrestleCon at the former ECW Arena. So that's part of WrestleMania weekend. If you're going to Philadelphia, if you can get there Thursday, get there Thursday. I can't get there Thursday, it's looking like. But I'll be there for the weekend. That's how it's looking at this point. Then we had a Britt Baker interview where she was asked about where have you been? And she said, I think with our very passionate fans, they're very vocal with what they want, what they don't want, what they like, what they don't like. We listen, I listen. So if they're telling me they want more or less of something, okay, I hear you. A lot of them said, we want less Britt Baker. So if they want that, all right, that's what they'll get. Let me take a step back. Here's the rest of the women. Someone else take the ball, run with it, make the women's division about you. You be the face of the women's division. And when no one else could do that, I'll be there to pick up the pieces and do it all over again. That obviously was in character. But she has been out. And, Tony Khan keeps saying she's injured. I don't know what the injury is because I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but she was injured the entire time she was wrestling pretty much. She had that broken wrist, which she wrestled on for months and months and months. And then she had the back injury, which she worked on for maybe even years, but months and months and months and months. So she had the one match at All In, the four-way, and then she had a match with Statlander for the TBS title, and then that's it. So I don't know what's going on. Dude, her back has been an issue forever, and I've heard nothing about it being worse now. In fact, with all the time off, it should be better. Yes, Tom, your sources?
Yeah, my sources indicate that it's a toothache.
Oh, stop. You know, every dentist has their own dentist, right? You don't do your own dental work? That's what I hear. I mean, when I want to listen to a podcast, I don't listen to Vinny's. Listen to my own. Wait, other way around? I screwed it up. Anyway, Bryan Danielson also did an interview. And so it used to be like this was his last year, which we all knew wasn't true anyway. But now he says that once he becomes a part-timer, he wants to wrestle 5 to 10 matches every year. Should we find out how many matches he wrestled this year?
He's going to do every big pay-per-view.
Let's see here. Now, obviously, he did the tournament this year, so that kind of skewed everything. But let's see. Let's look at his matches by year. All right, here we go.
I bet you he's had 40 matches this year.
No way. No way. All right, if we take out the Continental Classic, because that kind of skews it, right?
No.
Well, sure it does.
You keep that,
no. He's not going to do the Continental Classic next year.
There's 5 matches over the course of
4, 5,
a month.
6, 7, 8. Nah, he actually had a pretty full schedule. 2022.
How many matches did he have, Brian?
I don't know. You want me to count here on the air?
Well, you asked me.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. 22 matches. Huh. He's going to cut it to 10. That's what he's saying. So there you go. He's not retiring, everybody. He's never gonna. New Year's Evil. And that was counting the Continental Classic, by the way. 768,000 viewers and a .25 in 18 to 49, which is a very good number. The highest 18 to 49 since November 7th. And third highest rating the show has done since September of 2020. So, man, I don't know why people were so excited about this show. I mean, it was kind of a big show, but they announced early on the main event wasn't going to take place, but still did a huge number. So, back in a moment with Dynamite. Observer Live. On the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also WrestlingObserver.com. Dynamite! Open up with a Samoa Joe promo. They better not have this guy be a transitional champion. He's so great. He cut this awesome promo and talked about how, MJF, you embarrassed me, you cheated. So I showed up in your neighborhood in front of your friends and family. I took everything from you. The world isn't big enough for the two of us, and I will always take what's mine. It's awesome. I don't know why he wasn't there live. Maybe they gave him a vacation. But that was a great promo. Then we had Adam Cole and the Undisputed Kingdom.
Doesn't he drive an ice cream truck on the weekends? Weekdays?
What are you talking about?
Isn't he in Twisted Metal?
Oh. One of these things
Wasn't he
again?
Sweet Tooth?
One of these days, this guy's going to get his hands on you.
Brian, he was in the series.
Was he?
Yes.
Anyway,
he was an actor.
that's not what he's doing on the weekends. It's not a weekend anyway, you idiot.
What is he going to do? Get his hands on me and
Shame on you.
Give me a residual check for promoting his show?
Shame on you. Adam Cole and the Undisputed come out. It's Roddy, Kingdom, Wardlow. This poor Adam Cole can barely even get in the ring. Hobbling in there with this brace that goes all the way up to his knee, or this walking boot. And they do the promo, and he essentially says, everybody, you guys chant, he's your scumbag, but he actually is a scumbag, and he's a horrible person. And one of these days, you're all going to thank me for what I did to him. The locker room's going to thank me. One of these days, Tony Khan is even going to thank me. MJF is gone, and he's never coming back, he says. You guys cheering for this guy? You wouldn't even be cheering or chanting for him without me. I saved his title reign, and I also ended it. He's getting tons of heat. Shut the F up, chance. And he goes, we're all going to win gold here. He says the Kingdom going to win the tag titles. Roddy's going to win the, I think he said the international title. And then he says, Wardlow is going after the world title, and he's going to win it. And then when I am recovered and healthy, he's just going to forfeit that belt to me. And Wardlow has this look on his face like, I guess I will. We know how that goes. Sometimes we have the same storylines in multiple, like, this is a Luchasaurus thing. Like, there's a big guy, and the little guy wants him to win the title for him and then give it to him. And anyway, he said, we're sick and tired of waiting for things to change. We've started a new chapter, and the devil is here to stay. So Switchblade comes out, and he says, I was impressed with what you did, but I don't like being collateral damage in this whole thing. You jumped me when I was alone, but I'm not alone now. So the Guns and Switchblade hit the ring. They're getting overwhelmed, but the Acclaimed run down to make the save. So we have the Acclaimed and Bullet Club Gold working together. And I guess we'll see what happens. Is Jay White going babyface? Or is this just a thing to do for the time being?
They were getting pretty... at least mixed reactions.
Yeah.
For a large portion of the time after he debuted. Because they were, once he introduced Card Blade
as
a permanent member of the stable,
yes,
things get a little bit wacky. It's kind of tough to boo a guy when Juice Robinson's carting around a 6-foot tall piece of cardboard out there. So I wouldn't be surprised if they turn him. And you get the good feel-good story when the
was
Guns
it ever
and
explained why
Daddy
Jay White
reunite?
Came out with a giant cardboard cutout of himself?
He was missing. He was gone for a week.
But then he returned.
And they yeah.
So they just kept bringing it to the ring.
Yeah, Cardblade was so over, he stayed.
Okay. Then we had Eddie Kingston video package and a Daniel Garcia promo. And let me tell you something. Between Daniel Garcia's post-show press conference appearance and this promo package here, like, I was so irritated when this was over because I was like, he's losing in the main event. And God, like, this was like, I don't know, man. I watched this and I thought, all right, you know what? It's time to do something with this Daniel Garcia. So let's not put him in a match he has to lose. Let's go with this guy. But in fact, he was put in a match that he had to lose. We had Orange Cassidy, Dante Martin. Very good match. Good heat. This was where it was a powerbomb into a GTS that got the light CM Punk chant. And then they traded near falls. Orange hit the punch, got the pin. It was a very good match. And then they shook hands. And then I think somebody messed up backstage because they're playing Orange's music. And then they randomly play Top Flight's music. And you could see everybody in the ring is like,
Yeah.
that's not the right music.
Bryce is telling him to shake hands again, and Orange is like, what?
They're totally confused.
We did.
And then they hit a different song, which is Private Party's music. So I think somebody hit the wrong music. And so Private Party comes out, Mark Quinn is back, and they are putting everybody on notice. They want to become tag champs in 2024. So we had a Toni Storm promo with Renee, and she said she belongs on Broadway, not New Jersey. I am leaving, she says, to go to a seance. Mariah May is wrestling next, and she's asked if she's going to wrestle or she's going to watch her match, and Tony says, I don't watch wrestling. And so she leaves. She will not see them. At a House of Black promo on FTR. So here's the story, everybody. If the House of Black beats FTR, FTR must leave their families. They must move out. And they will be the new family for the House of Black. So, yes.
That's one hell of a payoff.
Sure is.
I hope we get that.
And then we had Swerve and Nana promo with Daniel Garcia. And Swerve about the match with Daniel Garcia. And Swerve says he's going after Samoa Joe's title, which pretty much everybody expected. And then, yes, here we go. After all this time, Mariah May finally debuted versus Queen Aminata. And Queen Aminata got a big pop. And am I going to get heat for this? I thought Queen Aminata looked better than Mariah May did in this match. Am I the only one? Am I? Am I in trouble? Well, I think she did. But Mariah May won with the Mayday. And afterwards, Renee goes to interview her. She says she couldn't believe she won her AEW debut. And she says she hopes Miss Toni Storm is proud of her. It's all about me, she says. My only regret, I had to do this in New Jersey. Hit that music! It's not Mercedes, however. It was Deonna Purrazzo. She makes her debut, and she tells Mariah she has a message for Toni. Doesn't matter where you run or where you hide, I'm going after you, because I'm all elite. And Mariah says, well, I'm not the messenger, so tell her yourself, witch. And she slaps her, and Renee got the hell out of there. And then Deonna beat her behind and sent her packing. So Deonna debuted yesterday, and I'd expect that Mercedes debut sooner rather than later. Christian Killswitch, Nick Wayne, Shayna Wayne came out for an interview, and it was long. Christian thanked everybody. Shayna said, I can't believe you would boo a mother. And then the big thing at the end was that Christian is now still the TNT champion. Oh, I guess the key was...
He did not thank
he's
everyone.
thanking everybody, but then it's time to thank Killswitch, and he stands in front of him and he goes, I got one more person to thank, but then he reveals that he's thanking himself. So I will say that now that Jungle Boy is not the devil, well, I do think that this is leading to Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus reuniting as a babyface tag team. I don't know when it's going to happen, but they're clearly setting up that Luchasaurus split. They're the faces of AEW now and forever. We had Renee with Ruby, Saraya, and Harley. I don't know what is going on with the storyline, but
I think Harley is essentially a submissive to Saraya.
I mean, she obviously is, but for a while it looked like she was hitting on her, and then Ruby leaves and Saraya tells Harley, be quiet, you're being too obvious. I'm like, okay, well, it's so obvious, I don't know what's going on, but that's all right. So then we had Takeshita and Darby Allin. Bro, this match was so awesome because Takeshita is a 240-pound, horse, thoroughbred, and Darby is a very, very small guy willing to take anything. And my God, it was just like, I don't know, man. It was just awesome match. And then finally there at the end, Darby demanded a series of knees. Takeshita killed him, pinned him. Absolutely phenomenal match. And so apparently the story is this. Darby is legitimately going to climb Mount Everest, or he's going to try. It's not some storyline. And so after the last pay-per-view, when they said that he's getting on a flight to go climb Mount Everest, that actually wasn't true. The climb is like going to be in the spring or something like that. But he did fly to like Nepal or wherever he went. Someone actually said it might have been China. But wherever he flew somewhere to train. Like he's up climbing and like training to climb Mount Everest. And apparently he was in some hut on a mountain and he watched the entire Continental Classic and just was like fired up. And he came back and he was offered this match with Takeshita, and man, he just was like, you never seen a guy like this match.
Well, he took
ruled.
a beating at the pay-per-view as well.
Yeah, but this was something different. This was a one-on-one singles match with an awesome guy, and they just had such a great match. Then we had Vikingo, Brian Cage, Trent, Brian Keith, number one contender to Eddie Kingston, the Triple Crown. And honestly, I thought Cage was going to win because like they gave him everything in this match. He was a standout performer in this match, but then Trent pinned Keith to win the match. So it's Trent against Eddie Kingston for the Triple Crown coming up. And then we had Swerve and Daniel Garcia
Saturday.
And this was a good match. I would call it a great match. It was really good. They worked very hard. But we did have a spot where Garcia tries to do the Dragon Tamer on a table, but he slipped. They both fell off the table. And this AEW crowd actually chanted loudly, "You effed up," which it's been a while since I heard that one. And then he hit the stomp. Garcia kicked out, hit a desperation crucifix. Swerve hit another house call. JML Driver pinned him. So Swerve wants a handshake afterwards, but Nana sneaks in, hits a low blow. Daddy Magic is doing commentary. He's had enough. Actually, he might have just been out at ringside. But anyway, he hits the ring, goes after Swerve. Swerve kicks him low, and then Nana does the promo saying we're looking at the next AEW World Heavyweight Champion. And then Hangman's music hits. He hits the ring for a brawl. They have this huge fight. Crowd chants, "Let them fight." And it's broken up, which left me, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. Because Swerve beat this guy twice, including in a stipulation match, Hangman's, the Texas Death Match. And, I don't think there's any way he's beaten him 3 times in a row. So I'm wondering if they're doing, another match, and Hangman's going to beat him, and Hangman's going to go after Joe for the title or something like that. And they're doing, a year-long build to Swerve winning that title or something. So, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
Denise Salcedo, Instinct Culture. Well, congratulations. I want to start off by asking you what the decision-making process was like for you in choosing AEW and becoming All Elite.
I've built up a trust and a rapport with Tony. I feel I'm at my best over here, and I've enjoyed every time I've come over here, and right now this is just the best decision for me and my family. I'm not interrupting my kids' school, my missus can see her parents, I get to be one of the best pro wrestlers that have ever done it, and I get to do it now on weekly TV, and I get to really test myself in these waters. I'm here for a reason, man. I'm here to go straight to the top. And I want MJF. I want that responsibility of being in the ring with him and testing myself, because for all this time, man, I've been on this side of the fence. And I've seen, do you know what? We'd always say, when we watch it, when we watch him come out, it was oh, he's not ready for the main event. I went, no, I'll watch. And he did it. No, he's not a good champion enough. I went, no, I'll watch. And he did it. I keep saying it, man. I love watching MJF. I like the idea, but I want to see when he says his catchphrase. I want him to look me in the eye, bruv. Are you a fucking liar? I think you are, mate.
Hey Chris, Denise Salcedo. I have a two-part question here. The first one is, we were just talking about Will Ospreay and the match that you had with him at All In. I wanted to get your thoughts on Will Ospreay becoming All Elite. And then the second part to that question is, there's been a lot of big things that have happened for AEW in 2023. And of course, given your history with the company, I wanted to get your thoughts on just what AEW has been able to accomplish this year.
First of all, I'm really glad that Will signed with us. I was kind of hoping that he was going to. We've been talking about it for a while. I talked to Will on the phone about it maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago maybe. I think the Wimbledon match we had was one of my favorites of the year. I think it was one of the best matches on the show, if not the best match. And that's what Will does. You know, he has, I think this is one of the greatest career years for any professional wrestler ever. The thing I like about Will that he's just tapping into, that we kind of got into before our match, is his character. He's got a character that's very believable. And I think that's something he's really going to get to focus on here in AEW that you don't really get a chance to in New Japan because of the communication gap. So I think this is the right place for him. I think we know what to do with Will Ospreay. I think there's a lot of huge matches he can have here, and to do the style that he wants to do for as long as he can do it. To me, he's one of the most valuable players in the world, and one of the biggest gets that AEW could acquire. So I'm really excited about that.
Donna Del Mondo's broken up. What's the update, Tom?
Julia has announced that Donna Del Mondo will disband. The once mighty Stardom faction is no more. Rumors are Julia will be going to NXT.
Oh, man. My favorite show.
But we'll see.
Maybe not this week.
I can neither confirm nor deny that. I was just on the old. I was taking some X, and that's what I saw.
I can't wait till everybody has to watch NXT now. You'll all see, everybody. You'll all see. Man, I had a big argument with somebody here yesterday about my 7 straight segments of non-talking and unidentified people. I'm just trying to help. Okay? Listen, we've had people here. I've had other people that tried to get into NXT. Lance quit after one show. Lenny forced himself to watch for a month. He's not watching anymore. And it was like the same thing from everybody. It's like, I don't know who anybody is. I can't keep track. And I'm trying to get that remedy, but no one wants to listen to me. I'm just trying to do my best.
Nobody wants to watch NXT?
To help this great business.
Is that what you're telling me? Brian and Vinny don't watch NXT?
No, we watch it.
Oh.
I'm talking about other people here. The show is not kind to new folks, Lenny said. I know. Listen, I watch every single show, and even I had to pause during that 7 straight talking segments like, what is this? Oh, that's right. I remember the name now. Like Edris Enofe and Malik Blade. Nobody said their name. They weren't identified on screen. They didn't say their own names. Like, come on! I'm out of here! Talk to you tonight. Wrestling Observer Live.